Welcome to Painting with Harvey. So, we're going to do a pour with orange, this copper orange. It's a metallic. We got black, and then a silver and white for fill. What we're going to do, we're going to start with the top. I've never used a black canvas. So we're going to start at the top, cover this whole thing, and go from there. So we're just going to pop this little guy open right here. I'm on Lake Erie. It's a frozen lake right now. It's about 30 degrees. It's kind of cold. But here we go. I've never done a pour in my life. And don't worry, I have stuff on the ground to catch it. We're just gonna let it run down. I don't really have a plan for this. And while that's running down, the idea is to kind of capture the exact opposite of what's going on around here. So right now it's like barren and icy, and well, I was feeling pretty good, and I've never used a black canvas. So we're gonna throw black on here. What I'm gonna do after this is I'm gonna take my brush. I'm actually gonna run it all the way down to get a really cool effect. Now, I don't think I popped this one open yet. This is brand new. Yep, look at that, brand new. Let's go ahead and peel the top off. Put it on my little trash pile here. And we're gonna give it some blue down here at the bottom. Just let it run down, it's fine. Ain't gonna hurt nobody. Just do a little up here, a little up here. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make like a band effect where it's kind of like just, you know, keeps your interest. Now, I didn't bring any tools out here because apparently I didn't think ahead, being on a lake and my car is half a mile away. Because who thinks about that whenever you're walking on a frozen lake? You know what I'll do? Some brand new knives just for this. Maybe. This is probably a bad idea. Definitely a bad idea. I can't even get it open. Things that happen on your videos, right? Oh, fingernails, don't fail me now. My fingernails are failing me now. Oh, come on, you got this. These painter knives are so thin. There we go, I got it. I got a little cup down here on the ground, a little coffee cup. Just put some paint thinner in it. And just let that run. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my my brushes here. I don't have many brushes, just a couple of them. I went down to Hobby Lobby and got something cheap. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put it over the whole canvas. And yes, it's going to be a lot of excess, and that's okay. This was a pour. What I'm going to do after the pour is I'm actually going to take a torch down there. It's all right. That's why I bought those. And so now it's completely wet, right? But you guys know that there's different colors under. All right, I'm going to throw this down here. And now what you're going to be able to see is under here, you're going to start seeing different colors pop out whenever I scrape. See how the colors are popping in? With the black on the black there, you can see all those extra colors popping through. Now I'm doing this as my first coat because it's going to give a really cool texture on the back end. I know it may look like a mess right now, and it kind of is, but that's part of it, right? All right. Notice how the right side has a lot more blue hues. But now I got paint all in there. Let's clean out the bottom. Put that down here. Now we're actually going to go over it with a little bit of black again, right on top of this. But this time we're going to do a lot less. What I'm going to do here, put it up top. We're actually going to paint that in. And I know you're not supposed to use pour paint but I'm not using anything to make color mixtures. This is just out here on the water. I didn't want to carry a lot of stuff, right? So we're doing everything on the canvas. Now, it's all right to not have it perfect the way you want it. Your background is just kind of whatever you want it to be. If you have an idea in mind, you have an idea in mind. I kind of have this, notice how it's like bronze, a little bit of colors of blue down here. Let me smooth that out to make it all look the same piece. You don't want it looking like a half and half, unless that's kind of what you're going for. Now, I never took painting classes or anything like that. I just kind of picked up one. Just started doing it one day, and well, I guess I started making these videos now, huh? Now that the background's done, I'm gonna take some orange. I'm gonna do a circle here in the middle, kind of like the sun, you know? Just kind of make it happen, right? Oh. Now, got a lot of paint on it still. I'm gonna rub it off down here, and then just kind of slap the crap out of it on there. It works pretty good. What you're gonna do now is you're just gonna put it right there on that wet. These are acrylics, by the way. Make it real thick. Because the background's wet, it's gonna mix in with that background and make kind of a hue color to it. And yes, I know I use a lot of paint. It's just how I like painting. I like the texture. So what I'm gonna do now to give it a quick hard surface. It's a little cold, so I'm kind of shaking a little bit, making it kind of hard. I thought, oh yeah, let's go paint on a lake. It'd be easy. I have been fooled. You got this kind of like bright end on the front here. Right? And I'm gonna have it kind of teardrop in here in a minute. I want it to look like it's like, let's just do it. Why not? So it's kind of like leaking, right? And smooth it out. So this is going to be a dock. I am out in public, so if people come up and talk to me, that's okay. I'll actually have them pitch in. I got some extra canvases if they want to paint. You never know. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and wipe this off down here on my little thing to wipe it off. Put it in my paint thinner. And what I'm going to do now is pretty simple. Take a torch. Yellow bottles are about double the temperature, and the snow is not wanting to stay, but that's fine. Now, we're going to go get a smaller paintbrush here, clean up the edges here. We're not really going to do any majorly fine details yet. So it should be a lot tougher. Yeah, look at that. See how much more fine that is? And so right here, I wanted to actually mix this in because it's still wet. Because how cold it was, I brought that. But now, because of the wet background, I can actually take this. Make sure you leave a little line here, right? This is your little horizon line. You don't want to go too much over that, because what I'm trying to do is make it look like the sun. But I'm going to put the moon inside the sun to make it cool, right? So there's your horizon line. It's okay if you go over it, that's fine. But that bronze from earlier mixes with the black, to make a really pretty color here. You know what I mean? All right. I'm gonna add a little bit more of this, so this should be a little more solid, and that's okay. Just gotta let it happen, man. It's not a big deal. It's painting. If you mess up, who's gonna know? It's not like you're sharing it with anybody or throwing it anywhere. And if you do, what's the worst that can happen? Like, you don't like it. Whatever. Just enjoy it. When I've had a long day, I do tend to like to paint. Makes life a lot easier. So what I'm doing here, because it has so much texture, because of how thick it is, it actually looks like it's wavy. You can see it on that camera there. You can probably see how wavy it is. Now, since I've added the sun and the sky, I want the sky to have a lot more color than just orange and black. And so with the center here, you want the intensity to be in the middle. So you want to actually give it little water ripples. And it's pretty easy to do. And in the middle, do it again. And actually just kind of do long strokes. Put your brush sideways. Do long strokes. So now, got another layer. And so because of how you have your horizon here, you need a little bit of black. Go in there for color, right? It's all right if it's not perfect. A little bit of color. Look at that, bringing them blacks in. That's good, that's good. All right, so now you have a centerpiece. Because you're going to be doing this dock soon. Let me go ahead and tighten up these edges here on this. There we go. The dock's going to be going into the sun. So, oh, there goes my other canvas. That's fine. All right, let's add a little bit more of the depth since I grabbed some more. There we go. All right, centerpiece is done. I'm going to throw this down here in my paint thinner. Give it a little hit with the torch. Well, it might help. Snow's out inside it, huh? Hang on. That's so funny. So you're looking down the barrel of a gun. Don't do that. That's bad. Remember, be quick with it. You don't want it to get too hot or it'll burn. See how it bubbles up like that? You don't want that. That's okay. We're going to paint over it. It's not a big deal. I'm going to set this down, this time on top of my canvases, because last thing we want is more problems. We're actually going to add another color here. Let me grab some, let's see, what color? Do I got a white? I got to have a white. I know I have a white. There it is. Hard to see white against the snow. So what we're going to do with this white is I'm going to add white here, white here, white here, white here, and white here. Remember I did the blue earlier? We're going to do all kinds of colors, not just white, red, and blue, and the golds. We're going to kind of go crazy with it. You know why? We're on a lake. It's frozen. I have nothing else to do, right? Boom, red. Boom, red. Boom, red. I don't even know what kind of red this is. Don't care. It's fun. Do some silvers. Man. So I went to Hobby Lobby, or not Hobby Lobby, I went to Michael's, and they had a whole bunch of stuff on clearance, and so that's what I went and bought. I went and spent like $50, and I was like, well, let's just get the cheap stuff. I'm not a professional. Let's have fun, right? And so here goes nothing. Silver, 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 silver. Ooh, that's really liquidy. Don't go into my sun, guy. Right now what I'm doing is I'm just kind of making it where it doesn't go into the sun. You're supposed to do background first, and that's okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually blend this in the sun and then go over the sun again. That'll give it a really cool edging color, kind of like the fog is going over it. Which, I mean, you can't lie, that's going to be cool. And I'm actually using pour paints. I'm not using normal liquid-based paints. And, oh man, I made a mistake. But that's fine. It's not a big deal. It's paint. Let it be. Did it again. Getting paint all over. Usually, when I paint, I make really dark paints. Like just dark atmosphere. But, I don't know. And that bronze will blend in real nice once I add that orange. All right, got that in. And yeah, people that paint for a living will probably look at this and think, oh, this guy has no idea what he's doing. You're correct. Not a clue. But, as we all know, painting is just painting. It's not a big deal. It's to have fun. Hate me. It's alright. What's the worst that can happen? You had a good time? Notice how, when I get right there on the edge, that orange is coming in. Alright, cool. And I'm just using 2 brushes for this, keeping it simple. Nothing insane going on here. And then I'm going to blend in this edge here. Down, make it look like it's the sky again. Because of how cold it is out here, it is really tacky. Because I guess it's not warm enough for it to be viscous. Because usually these pours, they just go everywhere, right? Like if you've ever used a pour, it's not really something you can control super well. It's kind of like it's completely random. It's fun, I mean, but it's messy. I guess that's why we're outside. So this bottom here, I'm actually just going to let it be. I'm going to pull out that big old brush I used earlier. Slap it against the thing a few times. Get that junk off of it. You see how it's still kind of, still got the orange in it. It's not a big deal. So because I used this one earlier, I'm just going to go ahead and I actually really like that. It's a good touch. I'll take a little bit of this here. Because I used a wet pour on the back, it makes this really easy. Even though I used the torch on it, it's not a big deal. This guy's kind of bleeding in, that's fine. Just brush it out. Brush it out. Don't be afraid to hurt it. Last thing you're going to do is hurt this thing. So, because I did the sky like that, we need a little bit of that copper. Remember that copper color we started with? We're going to make a couple copper spots. Nothing crazy. Just need a little depth in the sky. There we go. We're going to come back in with the one we used earlier. This one a little bit smaller, and we're just going to run a copper up and down. Pretty much what I'm doing is blending the colors to a point that it looks like there was supposed to be something there, and then there wasn't. And now that I have that, it's starting to get a texture. And I think texture paints are the coolest. Because flat paints are great and all, but when you can actually feel it, that's when it's really cool. Alright. Now that you got the centerpiece, this guy's kind of done. You can start adding detail. So you want to start from the back and go forward, since your background's done. Alright? So in the middle here, we're going to go ahead and make sure it's dry, so when we start adding blacks, it'll look right. Go ahead and hit it. People use heat guns, but you see, when you're out here on the water, y'all want to paint? Yeah, come here. Hang on, we got a couple of people showing up. Let me do something real quick. Y'all want to paint something together and take it home? You ain't interrupting nothing. It's all for fun. You alright with being on camera? Well, come on. Y'all three want to paint or just one of y'all? It fell in the snow while we were waiting. And so we're going to try to clean a little bit of that snow off. Actually, that looks really cool. Who would have thought snow would look cool? So what I'm going to do here, we're going to add a mountain line. So that's going to be our horizon line. Ooh, way too much. That's all right. Throw some right here, right there, right there. Let's go ahead and get this spread out. So that's going to be a mountain there. We're going to do the dock here, right? So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of like throwing the horizon there. There's going to be water, and so like this is water this way, and then they're going to have water that way. And so let's go ahead and use the black. And I'm just making sure the whole thing has two horizons inside this. So you have this mountain horizon, then you're going to have like trees and whatnot over here. I'm going to have it go over the whole thing. And because of the background, it'll look really cool. All right. So I'm going to throw a little bit more orange in here. Not too much. Just enough to clean up that area. And we're going to take one of our knives, and we're just going to take it and we're going to make it thick. Try to keep it flat. You don't want to put too much pressure behind it. So that allows it to take the texture of what's behind it. And because I'm putting so much detail in this spot, you want it to be thick. Same thing with the top here. That'll make the round look a lot better. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag these mountains. Well, that's doing exactly not what I want it to do, so we're gonna work with this. Just try it one more time. Alright, black. Let's get a different knife this time. Instead of a big one, let's use a smaller one. This makes more sense to use a smaller one. Got this one. We're gonna use this little guy. So we're gonna drag out. There we go, that's a lot better. Instead of covering everything. This painting is a disaster, and it's hilarious. I just dropped it. Nice. Okay. Now, back to the orange. Let's get this top fixed. So, cool thing about paint, anytime you have an issue, throw some more paint over it. You don't have to erase anything. This orange is actually a lot brighter, which I actually kind of like. So I'm just kind of mixing the black with the orange there, because whenever I did it the first time, I smeared it. Because I have no hand control because of how cold it is out here. Oh, all right. Let's use this darker orange here. We're gonna put a big chunk, so that should clean up that area and make it how I wanted it. Beat the crap out of the brush to get all that crap off of it. There we go. That's smoothing out. We're gonna leave that horizon line there, right? I'm gonna go back over this. And because of how wet the black is, it's gonna mix. Now, normal people, they would have time to let everything dry and do the next layer, but I don't have that time because I'm sitting on a frozen lake before work. There we go. Alright, so it was supposed to be daytime, but now it's dusk because I messed up. And when you mess up, you gotta work with it. So, and it's a very, very wet. There we go. So we have a horizon line here, and we have a horizon line here. So I'm essentially doing a picture in a picture, right? All right. Now that that's fixed, what color should we do? It's orange, so let's do a really, really clashing color like, I don't know, grab purple out of things. We're gonna do purple. So we're gonna put just a dab right there in the middle. That's gonna be my mountain horizon line. Let's use a little bitty guy. We're gonna drag this out. We're gonna take this. Might need more because of how wet it is. Let me hit it with the torch real quick, kind of cook it. Make it a little more manageable. Yeah, torch it is. You can see all that smoke coming out of it. That's the water. Now that the water is mostly out of it, I should be able to paint on it. Let's see. Let's do some more purple. Let's see if I can drag it out. Much better. Oh, now that it's warmed up, everything's dripping. So you remember I had the horizon line on the bottom and the horizon line on the top. So because I'm building a dock, or painting a dock, I should say, I'm going to kind of have the water get bigger like this, closer it gets to the dock. That's perspective, right? All right. So this is going to be the upwards perspective and then the outwards perspective. And since apparently doing this right now is not going to work, because I guess because of how cold it is, it's making it really, really difficult. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to do a lot and use a knife. So right here. And now let's take a knife, make sure it's cleaned off. And we're just going to take it. And what we're going to do is we're going to run it all the way out and then do the white or the orange under it. Add some more black here. Go up. Because I want it to go right there where it meets. So, like right there. And so perspective says that it's got to go wide all the way out. But because it's supposed to be like a long walkway, right? We're going to make it look like that. Now we're going to take the edge, pull it in. So it's a sharp edge. I'm going to do this side too. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of using the angle of the knife to make this perspective look right. And run it flat over the middle here. And I'm just going to drag what's left out. All right, so that dock's kind of there, right? Now, the sun's going to be going down soon, so I got to kind of speed this up. So, dock's there. What do I want to do on the outside? Well, we're going to do some like grasses and trees. So let's go ahead and add this there. And we're going to use one of the big brushes again. Let's whack the guy off there. All right. Get the bottom black down here. All right. Let's throw. Hang on just a second. My cameras are about to die, so I need to replace the batteries. All right. Check. All right, the cameras are fixed. Hate when I run out of battery. At the worst time, too. Well, since it's getting dark, or will be getting dark very soon, I gotta speed this up a little bit. So we're gonna do a whole bunch more black. So black here, black here. We're gonna go ahead and make the outside of it like that. So got the black going around here. This is no masterpiece, mind you. This is just me having fun. All right, so now that we have that, we're gonna go ahead and throw a couple of branches off. You gotta do the big old trees, right? Alright, got the major part of the outside done here. Let's go ahead and finish this dock. So I'm gonna go ahead and cook it again. Alright, so what we're gonna do with the dock, we're gonna do white. And because it's actually gotta be pretty detailed, what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna put a little bit of white onto my paintbrush, and I'm just gonna run little lines across. Because of how wet it is, I'm wet painting. What I'm trying to do is add an edge, just like that. You can barely see it, but it's there. Not too much, just enough. I figured since I was on a frozen lake, what better place to make a dock than when you're standing on the water? That doesn't exist, technically. Let me say this, painting without a paint pad, or whatever they're called, is kinda hard. So see how it's got the little walkway, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually use the white, well maybe, to kind of add an edge here. We're gonna pull this up. Well, just kidding. We're going to actually use the black because it's not wanting to work with me. Do little bushes. Oh, this is rough, guys. Oh, what fun it is to not be good at painting. There's the greats, like the guy I look like, but here's me. Now, that purple I was using earlier, I'm going to use it for the trees. So go ahead and put some there, put some there, put some there, put some there. And what that's going to do is going to kind of encapsulate this middle part here. I'm going to add a couple other colors too, but let's do some, let's see, that was a purple. Let's do kind of an autumn red. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my brushes, I'm going to dab all over. So let's go ahead and you can see, kind of just taking a whole bunch of these dots and throwing them all over the place. What that's going to do is going to bring this painting to life. So you know how it looks all sad, right? Let's do a little bit of yellow. Why not? Let's throw some yellow in here. There we go. Colors that do not go together, right? None of these go together. You don't put black and yellow and red and white and pink and whatever other color you want. So now I'm going to get my, let's see here. Do I have a little bushy brush? Little bushy brush here. Come on, I gotta have a bushy brush. Whatever. I don't have a bushy brush, but that's okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna start poking. Just if I was at home, I'd use cotton swabs, but I don't have any cotton swabs. So you can see what this is doing. It's just bringing it to life. So you just do that through the whole thing. And it adds a whole bunch of texture. because we're going to do this around the bottom here too. Now do it on the other side. So as you can see, it brings that side up. Then you just pull this side out. What's up, brother?
How's it going?
Out here doing stuff. Yeah? Now, I look at this and I tell you, it may not be pretty. It may not be fancy. It may not be the prettiest thing or the coolest thing. But I painted this on a frozen lake. Have you painted on a frozen lake? I don't think you have. Oh, man. I literally haven't painted in about I'd say 3 years. So it's been a while. And it, honestly, I was worried about it at first because I haven't done it in so long, but I've really enjoyed coming out here and just touching the thing over and over and over again. Oh man, the texture is starting to look so cool. I'm just gonna make sure I hit all those little dots and just fill up all around it. I guess I should probably go under this real quick before I forget and get some of that. Yeah, there we go. Gotta get up under the easel thing. Oh. I'm gonna add some whites, and the reason why I'm adding the whites is I want it to kind of look like it's like a little crystally, you know, like the flare. But because these are, well, this one's not even open yet. Hang on. Actually, could I just, I can. Look at me, I figured something out. I can just take this and oh man, you can't have a bad day when you screw. You come out here expecting nothing. And look at this. This looks so cool. And so, because I'm running out of time and I have no idea what to do now, I'm going to put what I put on every painting in a little guy. Maybe not. Maybe no guy. Because apparently it's too wet. And a bad thing about being wet is you can't really do too much with it. So I guess this is my first painting. I'm proud of myself. That was fun. I gotta put my name on it now. I made a painting. Okay, let's try this again. So you're supposed to put your signature on these things, but I think I'm just gonna put a number. 46. That's my signature. 46. Nice.